Jonathan Yemi Adeyemi, the man who lived to become a legendary broadcaster and organist, was born in Abeokuta on August 25, 1927, into the Moses Iyade Adeyemi family of Agboole Alafin. His mother was Janet Olatoro from Agboole Oluwo, both Owu. His birth was recorded as having taken place about 4 months after Sir Graham Thomas took over from Sir Hugh Clifford as the colonial Governor-General of Nigeria during the reign of King George V. Nurtured as a child in the African oral transmission of traditional values and norms, his formal education started at Emmanuel Anglican School, Odejimi, from where he moved to St. David's Anglican School, then St. John's Anglican School, Igbeyin, Abeokuta, before proceeding to the Central School, Ikboroake, and later the Teachers Training College, where he developed interest in the impartation of knowledge. Teaching was the most noble job, and it paid considerably well too. His utmost desire was to train children in morals, skills, and knowledge, so he picked a teaching job and was posted to villages around Ayetoro, now in the Yewa North local government of Ogun State, Nigeria. Yemi Adeyemi, the young 6-footer teacher, worked tirelessly, moving from one village to the other. He wormed his way into the hearts of parents, colleagues, and the communities where he worked. It was the love that he received from the different quarters that made him settle in Ayetoro, about 40 kilometers from his Owu homestead.
Take me as I am. Take my life. I would give it all. I would sacrifice. Don't tell me it's not worth fighting for.
The Ogun State Broadcasting Corporation, OGBC, popularly called Ogun Radio, the nation's model station, was established in 1976 following the creation of Ogun State from the defunct Western region. This was a great opportunity for Yemi Adeyemi to demonstrate his talent before the world. He went for auditioning at Ogun Radio, and the person to do this was no less a person than the Yoruba broadcast exponent, himself who was then a young producer and newscaster, Laide Sonny. Laide Sonny, about the most difficult conductor of auditioning, was rather amazed at the fast translation of the English script he gave to his candidate and marveled at his golden voice, composure, and delivery. Laide rushed to his bosses to announce that a potential ace broadcaster had arrived the nation's model station, as Yemi Adeyemi passed beautifully all other tests given to him. He was immediately offered the job, and no sooner he took to the airwaves, the numerous listeners of OGBC knew that a new thing had happened to their station.
Well, I think it would be apt to describe Papa Yemi Adeyemi as an enigma. An enigma is a person or a thing difficult to describe. A man of so many parts. Whatever he goes into, he did beautifully well. Is it in the job, his relationship with people, humility, and everything. So, my relationship with Papa was very good until he bowed out. Guys, it is very difficult to fault Baba in any assignment you give him.
When I joined OGBC, he now told me that I should join Baba Adeyemi at the State House of Assembly. It was Baba Adeyemi that tutored me how to write. You listen to what they discuss at the floor of the house. So in those days, we know Baba Adeyemi. Baba Adeyemi, very jovial. You cannot see him sad. Anything he tells you that he's a Ayonge Papa, and we call him Ayonge Papa, Ayonge Papa. He means, you see Baba Adeyemi putting on English dress at times, which is a Ogun bag. And you say, Baba, this Ogun bag, they are going to snatch it from you.
When he brought me to OGBC, he assigned somebody to train me how to read news, how to present program. And as I am today, I prefer radio presentation than news. And that is why I'm a radio broadcaster. That's why I'm a presenter. He did so many things for me to making sure that I become what I am today. He spent his own money from his own purse to send me to school. He first of all sent me to one coaching class in Onikolobo, Abeokuta. After which I made all my papers. He now asked me, which one do you want to do? I said, I want to go to school. He said, which one? College of Education or Polytechnic? And I told him I prefer Polytechnic because I want to read mass communication. Today, I read mass communication, ND and HND. If I call myself a broadcaster today, somebody mentored me. He mentored me. He groomed me. He spent his money to making sure that I grow today. Today, I am a certified broadcaster.
Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, oh, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, stand up.
He wrote every day and presented programs that influenced positive change in the society. As a producer, presenter, and newscaster, he handled many programs, especially cultural contents, including outside broadcasts. But his program, Ogun was a masterpiece comparable to any mind-molding and peace-building radio work in Nigeria, and one dares say, Africa.
I want to salute African soldiers now. African soldiers who fought for freedom. Some are dead and some are living. Those that are dead are still fighting on. Those that are living are still fighting. Shaka Zulu, African soldier. Tirelessly, African soldier. Namdia Sigiwe, African soldier.
I remember vividly when we were at the Ayonge station of the OGBC. It was a very notable staff. His program mostly dealt with things that of matured nature by way of serious programming, I would say. That in a way will tell you the kind of character that he is. The character that ordinarily would put a lot of maturity into whatever he does. A character that, even now, you want to remember somebody who has put a lot into broadcasting, who has been a pioneer in terms of putting substance that the young generations can now build upon.
You see Baba, you relate with Baba any day, you believe he's just a normal journalist. It's only when you kind of think back, then you remember the fact that even when I was in my A-level days, I've been hearing Baba on or talking about Ogun on radio. I never thought I was going to meet him until I came in around 81 and I saw Baba was still on. And then, funny enough, I found myself in a place where I have to supervise Papa's work. Can you imagine that? But then it was quite easy for me because the man is first and foremost a broadcaster, a journalist any day. He's a media person to the core, and he doesn't see himself, and we don't see him either as being an old man.
His narrative technique is a Siamese twin with Akiumi Ishola's in plot and suspense. The toast of Chinua Achebe's simplicity of language is the toast of Yemi Adeyemi's language and delivery, while the contextualization is most original and topical in the series. Ogbon Logbon was a classical weekly storytelling audio column that contributed immensely to the needed value-building process of the state from its inception, when television was rarely available. The presenter, a super storyteller, Yemi Adeyemi, would catch the attention of pedestrians on the streets passing by a radio, not to talk about those at home. They stayed glued to their radios till the end of the program.
Akóńkó lẹ́gí o, akóńkó. Oyì bẹ̀rù ènìyàn, akóńkó. Tó o bá bẹ̀rù ènìyàn, akóńkó. Oyì bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run, akóńkó. Tó o bá bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run, akóńkó. Oyì bẹ̀rù ara rẹ o, akóńkó. Bó ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn. Nítorí orin yẹn jẹ́ kí n túmọ̀ ẹ̀ fún yín gan. Ọkùnrin náà ni wọ́n ń pè ní akóńkó. Akóńkó yìí olóògùn burúkú ni, èèyàn burúkú ni, kò sí burúkú tí ò dánwò tán nígbà yẹn lọ́hùn-ún. Àgbà kan á pè wọ akóńkó. Ó yìí bẹ̀rù èèyàn, ó yìí bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run, ó yìí bẹ̀rù èèyàn, ó yìí bẹ̀rù bó ọ̀bá tiẹ̀ bẹ̀rù èèyàn tó bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run, ó yìí bẹ̀rù ara ẹ. Kọ́ ọmọ yìí pé nǹkan kan máa ń ti bọ̀ lẹ́yìn ọ̀la o. Bí orin yẹn ṣe rí nìyẹn. Ọkùnrin náà tí a ń pè ní akóńkó yìí, gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ti sọ, ó lóògùn kọjá wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́. Tó bá déyàn kan tó ń lọ báyìí tó pé ó pọ̀, òkú ló ń lòun ọmọ àwọn wọn. Kó tó jọ méje ẹni tó ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní akú. Kò sọ̀gbọ́n kò sún tó lè fi wẹ̀. Bó bá rí ọmọdé kékeré tó bá dá ọ̀tọ̀ ọmọdé kékeré lórí báyìí, orí àfọ ọmọ yẹn pa ni. Lu ọkùnrin yìí ó kì í túwà báyìí sí gbogbo èèyàn. Òun ṣe báyìí ṣó dáa báyìí. Ṣé ìwọ nìkan ló wà láyé ni? Wọ́n ń kìlọ̀ fún akóńkó ọ̀gbọ́. Wọ́n wí fún títí kò gbà. Ó dáa kò burú. Yóò rí bí ti rí. Àwọn èèyàn wá dọ́gbọ́n. Wọ́n wá ibi tó ń yàgbẹ́ sí. Nígbà tí wọ́n rí, wọ́n wá lọ kó ìyàgbẹ́ ẹ̀. Òun nìkan ló sì ń dágbé nínú ilé ẹ̀. Wọ́n wá kó ìyàgbẹ́ yẹn, wọ́n kó sẹ́nu ọ̀nà ilé ẹ̀. Jíjáde tí ó jáde láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì, orí ìyàgbẹ́ yẹn ló dáṣẹ̀lẹ̀. Ìpẹ̀tẹ̀ ó léèyàn ló ṣe báyìí sí òun. Ọlá gbogbo oríbodè ọ̀run ti ń pe ń tọ̀hún. Péyìn wá ṣe irú eléyìí sí òun lé òun. Lọ́ba lọ dọ́gbọ́n ó bu nǹkan sí ìyàgbẹ́ yẹn.
That program is one of the programs that most old people, they like it so much, even with the youth, because we learn a lot of things in that program. And it's a program that people really commending on what it's really doing.
It's God's grace, because as I sit down, I can go into anywhere. Then I begin to write stories. I see many things that your own naked eyes cannot see. For instance, if I want to tell you another story now, it's about a man who wants to revenge an offense done by his dog. He's a hunter. And he killed an animal, a very small animal. The dog ate the animal. Then he wanted to kill the dog. Said, how? Another elderly person met them. Said, look, why do you want to kill this dog? He said, because they are eating my rat. Said, ajá tó jẹkún ajá lè pọ̀ ya lọ́la ẹ má ṣe fi ìbínú pa ajá ajá lè pọ̀ ya lọ́la. Ọ̀yà is an animal, bigger animal than a rat. And so on and on like that.
Yemi Adeyemi was also at the State House of Assembly, reporting the proceedings with details. Iṣẹ́ Tony láti ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin. He did this till very old age and was never deterred by his age in relating with the young legislators and media colleagues, even at well over 80.
Honorable, how are you, Papa? Thank you, sir. Ẹsẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ yóò yẹ báyé ẹ gbà pé àjẹmọ́nú yóò sì jẹ́ fún àmúbá yíyọ̀ tíyàn bá gba promotion lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ Honorable Joe Olúfẹ́mi Akínsọ́lá, popularly known as Olódodo. And for one constituency, Honorable Sikro Lai Olawale Ogundele. Thank you very much. All right. The only woman in the assembly for Ogun State. And she's Chief Mrs. Titi Shoduke Oseni.
At a point, he was assigned the translator and interpreter for the hallowed chamber and became the link between the new and old assemblies.
We feel highly honored to have him, and particularly on a Yoruba Day, because we dedicate a day whereby we deliberate in Yoruba in the State House of Assembly. And he has been of great help to us, most especially in the interpretation of Yoruba language on the floor of the House. We appreciate him.
Pa Adeyemi was a researcher. You would always find a book with him. He drew his inspiration under this tree in front of his house in Ayetoro. He maintained a large pool of people who were far older than him as friends, from where he obviously gathered his wisdom, and yet he was still reputable for his love for children. There is no disputing the fact that Yemi Adeyemi was a bundle of talent. As an organist, he displayed such dexterity that for a long time he used his talent for God in his worship place, the St. Paul's African Church. And they never wanted to let go of him, even at a very old age, even though he had trained many young talents in the skill.
His activities in the church is very, very satisfactory. With me, if ever I am not available, he chooses the hymns for them, which match the days. Because in African church, we have days, like which day, like a Trinity, like other things like that. He knows everything about it and is doing very fine among the members, and they loved him very well, especially the choirs. They loved him, and is a respectable man who respects himself. And all his doings in this church, he is doing it conscientiously and faithfully. He's a man of God. He doesn't want any problem to occur in the church. He will quickly try to settle the matter. He doesn't fight anybody. He doesn't want anybody in the church to be a suffering man. He helped, both financially and otherwise.
The man is a younger man. He's working like a 13-year or 14-year-old child. In fact, I pray for his type of what God has given him. I pray for that because he's versatile. He's good in all things. The man is good in all things. In the first instance, he has been a lay reader. Later, he was promoted to the post of a general lay reader. Now, for the past 20 years or more, he has been the organist of the church.
In doing all these, Baba Adeyemi was above board, living an inimitable and exemplary out-of-studio life, even as a broadcaster.
He decided not to be a chief, but he supported my own. Because that Oba Agura Adedayo Olaloku was my class pupil. And when he became king, Oba, he began to ask where I am. So my brothers, Choyolas, they took me to him. He was happy. Said, "Sister, I will give you a title because you are my teacher." That is why I came about chieftaincy. Iyabi of Gwagwura. But my husband said they even told him in Ayutthaya to come and become a chief. He said no, he doesn't want it. My wife is a chief, and that is enough for us.
He is my teacher. We met at African Choice School at Ayutthaya. When I met him, I just love him. That is why I married him.
I want to thank God for the life of my father and the kind of person God has made him to be. So many people, though they know him as Ayonge Daddy in the town. And from the response from so many people, he has been a nice man, a helping, and he's the kind of man that encourages people. Being the kind of person he is, very hardworking. He encourages people to hardworking, and people love him, which I believe.
His humility and sense of humor were unequaled as he related with his younger colleagues freely without minding his age. This earned him many aliases: Ayonge Daddy, Ayonge Papa, Ogbon Ologbon, and so on. Winning so many awards to his credit, Ayonge Daddy led among the brains behind the formation of what is today known as FIBAN, which has opened a vista of opportunities to many mentored by him and those who never came across him, and who are now great stars in the industry of the pen and microphone. To keep on practicing at the age of 85 and to live up to 94 years is rare in broadcasting all over the world because of the rigor and hazards of the profession. And in Nigeria, it is another story with poor remuneration, poor health services, and exposure to radioactivity of transmitters. The oldest broadcaster in the world is David Attenborough, who is just 1 year older than Baba, having been born May 8, 1926, now with a net worth of $35 million. Larry King, who was far younger than Pa Adeyemi, died in January 2021 at 87 with a net worth of $144 million. They both worked in a more conducive environment, a necessity for long life in the industry, which broadcasters in Nigeria are denied. But a man among us weathered the storm and lived to 94 to challenge the world record. His net worth is his life as a virtuous man and the too many stars he mentored.
The upcoming and the present broadcasters to ensure that they uphold the integrity as number one. The issue of worldliness, that has been celebrated in populace is for short time period. Like Baba Adeyemi, he wasn't as wealthy as people might think. He wasn't a millionaire, but he was comfortable. He was disturbing. He has joy in himself, adding to the value of the society.
A very radiant personality. Someone that is always there, with a smiling face. Someone that will radiate happiness. When you meet him, it's an elderly person coming. And you tend to be happy that you are coming across someone. That I have noticed, and I think that is the general belief of most people, that this guy, this Papa, is somebody that makes life. Maybe it will even reflect the kind of personality that he is, because I have not seen him in a very bad mood, and I've not seen him in a bad mood any time. He's always there, very radiant. And of course, like I mentioned, there are occasions when certain issues could arise in the course of the job, and you find the kind of touch, the kind of role that Papa Adeyemi will get involved with, that kind of reconciliatory manner to use if it requires some kind of arbitration between two parties. Rather, if perhaps things ordinarily which you will refer to as maybe small problems, but you find him there trying to settle such problems.
Why must I be in bad?
Monuments are named after the Arobiodos, Delanos, Dedekers, and Ogundes who used their talents for social change. This rare gem also deserves to be so recognized and called to the Hall of Fame of Ogun State. Yemi Adeyemi is a legend.
Attention African soldiers, we are still calling African soldiers, African soldiers who fought for freedom. About my calling.
Ìpàdé dojú àlà, ìpàdé dojú àlà, Yemi Adeyemi bójú bá ń túnra rí o. Ariwo ìpàdé dojú àlà, ìpàdé dojú àlà, bójú bá ń túnra rí o.
Pa Adeyemi had two wives, late Chief and Lady Evangelist Janet Ayonge Adeyemi ní Shoyola and Madam Comfort Ayonge Adeyemi ní Amushan. He is survived by 7 children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
This world is not my home, I'm just a passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. I have a loving mother just over in glory land, and I don't expect to stop until I shake her hand. She's waiting now for me in heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. I have a loving mother just over in glory land, and I don't expect to stop until I shake her hand. She's waiting now for me in heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home